everybody, it is Gary Vaynerchuk. I am back here with Die Hard Dialogue in a much better mood because my New York Jets have won a football game, and so now I am in great spirits. I'm disappointed I got the bet wrong, but much less so than actually the Jets losing, so I'm quite happy. I missed my partner in crime here last week. Maybe that's the reason the Jets won. We'll have to see if that holds true. That could be the case, but she is back today, and I'm really excited to see her. How are you?
I'm good, Gary. Yeah, had a little something pop up last week, so last minute could not be here. I know Emerson filled in for me, probably didn't do as good a job as I always do. But everybody, if you're new here, as a reminder, there's a free-to-play DFS Listener League contest associated with this show, Die Hard Dialogue. The winner of that contest always gets a special prize. A card from Gary's personal collection. All right, that's a big deal, right? This week's prize, a Tony Gonzalez rookie card, okay? So that's really awesome. Gary, as usual, check your Twitter, check the DK social Twitters for the links to all that good stuff. And last week, our winner, Shamus43, took home an Earl Campbell rookie card. So you could be taking home a Tony Gonzalez card. Make sure that you join that listener league.
This week, the Jets travel to London, which I'm very excited about, and take on the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta being one of my probably my favorite city in the U.S. besides New York. So I have love in that realm, but 0.0 love for their football team because I, like any diehard, have 110% love for the Jets and 150% hate for every other of the 31 football teams, triple hate for the Bills, Dolphins, and Patriots, with some lingering double down hate for the Steelers, Raiders, and some other teams that we battled with during a good decade of Jets football a couple decades ago. But not a lot of over emotion towards the Falcons since we play them once every 4 years. But I'm excited to play them. They're an exciting football team. They've got a lot of players that excite me. My brother runs a sports agency and represents Foyer. They're an incredible linebacker, and so I have love for him. But I'm excited for this dialogue with my fellow diehard, and I will let you introduce him. Yes?
Yeah, we have Sean Garrett here with us. Sean, thank you so much for being here. You're obviously incredibly talented producer, songwriter. You've got 18 Hot 100s to your name, 52 number ones. No big deal, right? Thank you for being here.
No big deal.
You are
Sean, before we get into your Falcons love, what was the first song that you wrote that kind of changed your career?
Well, you know, the funny part is it's the number 14 song on the greatest hits of all time Hot 100 list. It's called Yeah. My man Usher Raymond, Little John, Ludacris. The record was man. It was actually my first. That was my second release actually ever as a hit maker. And then I went on to do my next 10 were Hot 100 number ones, from Sierra Goodies to Beyonce's Check Up on It. Destiny's Child, Lose My Breath, Soldier, Chris Brown's Run It, Pussycat Dolls Buttons, Fergie's London Bridge.
Yes, Jess, no matter how crazy your reactions are to all these statements, it's even better than you think. This guy is legend for such a young man. But now let's segue.
I just like him having a heart attack. I feel
it's insane. This is a real talent. But we're about to find out how talented he is in having a sense of his football team's behavior this Sunday morning. Remember, it's a 9:30 Eastern game because it's London. So I'm excited to wake up nice and early. Sean, how did you become a Falcons fan? How real of a fan are you? Shoot it to us straight. And then what are we seeing so far in Falcons football this year?
Well, look, man, I'm going to be very honest with you. I am a Grady baby. I am from Camilton Road, Atlanta, Georgia. So, you know, my aunt is like my Aunt Barbara is the biggest Atlanta Falcons fan ever. She's been going to season games ever since I can remember, right, as a baby. I'm a true Falcons fan. I'm a true Atlanta fan. You can't be from Atlanta and not be a Falcons fan. We have had, oh my God, it seems like our entire life, Atlanta almost gets there, or we kind of fumble the ball every single season for some reason. And that one season that we could have won the Super Bowl, man, I was so
98.
Yeah, man, 98. I was hurt.
Dirty
man.
Birds.
It was crazy.
Jamal.
It was just crazy. Yeah, we had it, man. We had it.
How much did you, knowing your age range, how much did you love Michael Vick?
Oh my God. Absolutely love. Michael Vick was like a hero in Atlanta, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the greatest quarterbacks, in our opinion. He actually set the tone for today's, quarterbacks. I mean, he was mobile. We had never seen anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Michael Vick was, he was an incredible specimen, man. So,
what's been going on with the Falcons this year from your perspective? Have you been too busy to watch, or do you have a sense?
No, I got a good sense, man. I ain't gonna lie. I'm still a little ticked off that we let Julio go, man. I'm just very. I was upset about that. I was really upset about it. And I'm an honest guy, man. I'm gonna tell it like it is, man. I'm like, Matty's gonna have to get it together.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, and I'm not understanding what's going on.
Well, just the offense. I mean, I'm not watching these games. The offense seems to be alive. They're putting up points. Maybe it's defense. I mean, it seems like Cordell Patterson. I mean, it seems like they're doing some work. No?
I mean, Matt Ryan had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, that was good. But
Sean, do you know the last time a Jets quarterback had 4 touchdowns? You weren't born. I think people are a little bit like, do you understand the Jets have never had anybody like Matt Ryan in their history besides Joe Namath? And that was like a quick burst because he got hurt. It's insane how good Matt Ryan has been.
To be fair, to Sean's point, though, the Falcons are only averaging 19.5 points a game.
It's not going to work, Gary. We cannot, you're right. I mean, we cannot hold up.
To be fair, though, didn't they not score a whole lot in game 1 and then scored plenty in the last 3?
Not plenty in the last 3. They didn't score,
you're talking to a Jets fan. 19.3 sounds like Nirvana. I would sign right now, right this second. If you said, Gary, the Jets will score 19.3 points a game for the rest of the season, I'd be like, please give me that contract. Poke my finger. Here's the blood. I'm 100% in.
No, but here's the problem, Gary. The problem is we've had Matty Ice has been there for 14 years. And listen, at this point, consistency is our problem, Jess. That's the problem. The point of this whole thing is to get better every year. We can't keep on being inconsistent. That has been the Falcons' problem.
It's very hard to get better every year because they are the oldest team in football with the worst salary cap situation.
And but even just about improving throughout the year. So in those first 4 games, like you were asking about, Gary, they've scored 6 points, 25 points, 17, and 30. So
yeah, that ain't gonna cut it.
I keep saying the 6 throws off that average. We've only played 4 football games.
That was against the Eagles. Gary. Come on, man. No way. And the Eagles are not, don't get me wrong. My dad's from Philly. You know what I'm saying? I like the Eagles too. I really like the Eagles, but the Eagles ain't doing too well this year. But they've
also gotten hurt. The Eagles have gotten hurt a little bit since they played you guys. They had Brandon Graham in your game. They didn't going forward. That stuff adds up. Jess, what else are you seeing that's interesting to add to the fodder of the Falcons, in your opinion?
Well, this line has actually moved since I started putting stuff down for this show. So the Falcons were 3-point favorites. Now they're 3.5-point favorites. So it looks like people are, So Sean, the people might be feeling, but Cordell Patterson did become the first Atlanta player since 2018 to score 3 touchdowns in a game. Obviously, Matt Ryan threw 4 touchdown passes. He connected with Mike Davis. I mean, so we did see a lot of improvement.
Who they play last week?
Washington football.
They played Washington last week, and
what's
we
going
lost
on with Washington?
They did lose.
I know.
We lost by. That's the point. I can't see those little games. That come on, we can't. And you know what
And
happened?
this is the Falcons who last year were the most remarkable team ever, right? Because they lost 7 heartbreakers that made no sense.
Yeah.
That's my point, man. We need to get over the edge. There's something that we're missing, and I don't know.
Let's talk about the Jets for a second. Can I do that? Because I love Sean, but Jess, would you like to hear my feelings?
I personally want to hear your feelings.
My feelings are the defense thing is really exciting. You lose Carl Lawson, your number 1 free agent in the offseason. You lose Jared Davis, who was a first-round pick I fully felt was misused in Detroit. I felt Patricia was one of the worst head coaches of all time in the NFL. So I literally thought, we might steal this, Davis kid, who I think is actually strong linebacker. We lose him, right? Then Joyner, our other safety free agent for the Chargers, we lose him for the year. So the defense has been shredded with injuries, and they were young to begin with. And then Marcus May gets hurt, who's, and all of a sudden you're kind of looking around, but John Franklin Myers, who was hot last year, is ascending crazy on the defensive line. Quinton Williams is everything that a 3rd overall pick should be. He's just been insane after his first 19 games of his NFL career were looking scary. Since then, he's been the most dominant defensive lineman besides Aaron Donald. It's crazy what Quinton's up to. And the defense was insane last week. We are just incredibly efficient on the defensive line. CJ Mosley is unbelievable. It's unbelievable what he's doing. He's completely changed the culture of the defense. And it just seems like Saleh and the defensive mastermind stuff might be translating, because that defense should not be performing the way it is after 4 games. And then on the other side of the ball, you got to see a glimmer of what the Zach Wilson hype is about. I don't know what Zach's career is going to look like, but I've watched football for 40 years. He made 2 plays, 2 in 1 game that I've never seen a Jets quarterback make ever. He's got that little weird Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes thing. Now, he may not read defenses. His body type might not hold up. There's a million reasons why he may not. Jeff George, by the way, back to Sean here, a former Falcons quarterback, also did things you never saw, but didn't have other things. So it's too early. Zach's played 4 games, but I'd be lying if I didn't say, wait a minute, he's got some magic in that mobility throwing on the run, and that's going to break down defenses. And that's why Mahomes and Rodgers are problems, because it's not just in the pocket. It's when it breaks down, they do real damage. And he showed that playability last week. I don't know what's going on with the Falcons defense, but it's a neutral field. So the London crowd, I don't think is overtly ecstatic that it's Jets Falcons, so they'll be just kind of whatever. And so you've got a neutral field. It depends on how everybody travels. The Jets are coming in with momentum. The Falcons are probably in a place of is this season going to be a wash? So you wonder about the psychological framework that these 2 teams come in. I do think people who didn't watch the game, the Jets were down 9-0. Just after about a quarter and a half. And the Titans were inside the red zone all 3 times where they had to settle for field goals. So that game could have been 21-0 and would have been long over. And so we'll see. But
Gary, the Jets, you were going on about this Jets defense, which fair enough, but they still gave up 24 points. So can the Falcons score on Sunday is the question.
The Falcons are going to score.
I'm feeling good.
The 24 points. Yeah, I agree with that, Sean. The Falcons will score. And the Jets defense, yes, 24 points, but one important point, first drive of the game for the Jets, or second, Corey Davis slips and Zach throws another pick. Looks bad on paper, right? But they're in the 30 before the drive even starts. So you got to look at how the points are manufactured sometimes as well.
And Sean, on the other side of that, the Falcons are giving up 32 points a game. Atlanta's allowed 128 points in its first 4 games, ranking last in the league. So given that information, guys, thinking both of these teams can score, are we thinking that this is going to be a higher scoring game?
Sean, what do you think the score is going to be?
I'm going to say, I'm going to go on record saying that I think the Falcons, Gary, you're not going to like this. I think the Falcons are going to pull this one out. I feel they're feeling a lot of pressure, and they know that they can't afford to have another wash this year. So I'm feeling good because I don't know. I don't know if the Jets. I think it's going to be like a 21. I'm going to say 21-28 Falcons.
Okay, so a bet in this one that's a good one. Both teams to score 20 plus. There's plus 110 odds on that. So do you like that? Kind of sounds like it.
Wow, plus 110.
He just said that he liked it.
Yeah. Kind of sounds like it, by which I mean definitely sounds like it. Gary, do you like that?
I do not.
Okay.
I think the Jets offense, I think the Falcons will score over 20 points. But I think the Jets offense does not have, again, I'm concerned about the Falcons defense, so I'm not sure what I'm walking into. Again, I see the data, but turnovers, things of that nature, you got to watch game flow sometimes. I still think the Jets offense is in a place, and Zach is in a place in his career where if you told me the Falcons win this game, 31-10, that feels incredibly like normalized in my brain. I'll be like, okay, the Jets offense is, yay, we had some big, it's not like the Jets offense was unstoppable on Sunday. It was 9-0 with a couple minutes left in the first half last week against the Titans. So it's not like we're so like, I'm still not confident in that yet. He's still a kid, even a kid that has a good rookie year, and Zach has not been yet, can in week 5 put up a clunker. They're kids. And so, I think I actually think that this is going to be a tough game for the Jets. This is a really fun game for me because if they win this game, they're going to put me into a real frenzy because they have a bye week, 2 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I'm so ecstatically worried about the Patriots, Bengals, and Colts come up for the Jets. And those are all teams that could beat them. But I don't, even though Cincinnati's 3-1, it's not like, oh my God, it's inconceivable. And it's a home game for the Jets. So, this is a very big game for the Jets season. If they find a way to win this game, their season can really get interesting. And by the way, on the record, interesting in Jets land is 6-11. Because, a week ago, we're talking 1-16, we're talking 2-15. So I think they know that. I also have a lot of understanding because I'm friendly with a lot of players. They've been holding strong. The last week makes sense to me because there was no cracks after week 3. This is where the culture, this is where the Salah factor versus the Gaze factor really matters. Head coaching matters. So I'm going to go with, because I promised myself when I signed up for this show, I'm going to give the score I actually think. And I've already gotten the Jets wrong twice. We've only played 4 games. So it's not like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I'm going to go, I think the Falcons are going to score. I think their offense is good. I really do.
Yeah.
Well, the Jets defense, I'm going to go 22-19 Falcons.
Whoa.
Okay. 22-19. So, okay. But so you think the Jets are going to cover that 3.5 point spread? Not cover. They're going to come close.
That's right.
I guess the line keeps moving. So
the line's moving. I think,
change.
Yeah, lines are subject to change. We don't have that many props today, but yeah, I think we should get into the other teams. Sean, any parting shots as a Falcons man?
Man, I tell you, man. Yeah, I mean, Falcons, go Falcons, man. Dirty Birds, let's get it going, man. I really think that we're gonna, it's gonna pan out. We'll pan out, man. We just
let me say this, Sean. You guys better not lose this week.
Hey, we better not. I mean, I hate
because if you guys lose this week, that's gonna be a shit. No,
yeah.
You could call this season a wrap because if you lose to the Jets, that's a game you should win on your schedule. The Redskins and Eagles, if you're looking at the Falcons schedule coming into this year, and we thought the Falcons would probably be down a little bit, no Julio, this, that, the other thing, but there was so much insanity for this Pitts kid. Doesn't seem like he's off to the craziest start of all time. Just like, I don't think Pitts is off to something insane, right?
Right. I think we'll be okay, man. I know we're gonna win this week. I think we got to win this week. I know I feel like I hate to say it, Gary.
Season's on the line. Season's on the line for the Falcons.
Yeah, we're gonna pull through. Maddie's gonna step up.
Sean, before you go, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for making the music that defined my middle school, high school era. Second of all, you did just start a new record label, Hey Young World. So I just want to give a shout out to that before we let you go.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the whole world, man. All the kids, man. We got this new label, man. Shout out to my partner in crime, Max Goose. We got this huge partnership that we just did with iHeartRadio. We're doing this contest that's coming up next month. It's going to be really, really great, man. So all the talent in the world, keep submitting. I think submitting is already over, so it's getting ready to get fun. We November 18th is when we do the actual first audition. So it's going to be great.
Well,
thanks, Sean.
Good luck.
Congratulations, brother.
And now, Gary, let's shout out to our next two guests.
Please.
We're talking Bills at Kansas City, and we have two very special guests here. Our Bills guest is none other than Summer Sanders. So, Summer, you can turn on your video.
He's here.
Jets talk.
So, Summer, obviously, when I was like thinking of how I was going to introduce you, I was like, what doesn't Summer do? What hasn't Summer done? Because, I mean, Olympic champ, actress, sports commentator, Nickelodeon Hall of Famer, basically. You're just incredible. And we're so happy to have you here.
Thank you very much. I've never been a Winter Olympian, nor have I won a Super Bowl ring, which was pointed out to me earlier.
Yes, because we do have our Kansas City Chiefs guest, DJ Kissel, is here as well. And he did show us before that he actually does have a Super Bowl ring. So, BJ, maybe you can pop that out again.
I just want to remind all fans that they have no rings. Like, I'm very happy for BJ and all the Chiefs fans, but for all the Patriot fans specifically, and I think all three of us can agree to this, for all those Patriot fans up in Boston, I just want to remind all of you, you did nothing. You did nothing. You did absolutely zero. You're not better than anybody. You just happened to be in the region and watch them. You are not accomplished. You did not do anything. None of your self-esteem should be wrapped up in it. Most of your self-esteem is wrapped up in it. And I feel bad for you, Patriot fans.
And go have a great
I didn't do anything either, for the record.
Yeah. BJ, you founded KC Sports Network, spent 6 years as your Chiefs reporter. Have you always been a Chiefs fan? I mean, how did that come about?
I am. It was an easy fit for me when I got the job with the Chiefs. It was kind of a dream job for me at the time as somebody who grew up going. We had season tickets when I was a kid. I went to all the games with my dad. We did the same route, the same McDonald's we stopped by, same tailgating situation. So I grew up a fan of the team, sitting in section 338, row 10, seats 11 and 12 every Sunday with my dad. So it was special. I'm definitely a diehard fan. But Gary was speaking directly into my soul in that I definitely carry that ring around and have pride in it. And I was on the sideline, but I did nothing.
And by the way, the Chiefs, as some hardcore fans would know, had the longest drought in between Super Bowls in NFL history. By the Chiefs winning their Super Bowl, now that distinction sits with the Jets. Because the Packers won Super Bowl 1 and 2, but have also won other Super Bowls. When I buy the Jets and when I help them win a Super Bowl, that will close the longest drought in NFL in between Super Bowl championships. And I will say on the record, even though they're in the AFC, I was super pumped for the Chiefs to get one. I've watched what they've dealt with all these generations, my 40 years of football watching, and I'm happy for the Chiefs. And this football game is going to be remarkable because unfortunately, the Bills are back, which is terrible for me. This is devastating. I hate everything about it because I'm 45 and my original Patriots were the Bills. They were dominant. They won 15 out of 16 games over the Jets during that Jim Kelly, Thurman, Andre Reed thing. I hated them like I hated the Patriots, but they've been bad for 2 decades. So you forget. Now I am reminded why I hate them so much. I hate Bills fans. No, let me get this off my chest. This is my show.
Okay.
I hate them, but they're back. I was completely wrong about Josh Allen. I didn't think he was going to translate. This is devastating to me. And this football game is absolutely the preview to the AFC Championship game like it was last year. Obviously, injuries can happen. There's other variables. There's a couple other teams that are trying to do their thing, but this is going to be a big game.
Yeah, and I was going to say, speaking of the Bills, our Bills fans, Summer, I got to ask you, you have a couple Olympic gold medals, for those who don't know. And what I want to know is, would you trade a gold medal for a Bills Super Bowl?
No. Sorry.
That was an easy no.
I'm a huge fan and I would love to see them go to the Super Bowl and I would love to see them win a Super Bowl, but no, my gold medals are a lifetime.
What about your bronze medal?
No, my bronze medal. My people are.
I would give
Not
up
li-
both of my legs for a Super Bowl ring.
Would you?
Yes,
How about, is that Andre the Giant on up on your ledge there?
this is Andre the Giant.
Yes.
love you for
Look at
knowing that.
him. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yep.
Um,
I would kiss Andre's ass. And Andre's not living. So I'd have to dig him up, kiss his ass for
Yeah.
a Jets Super Bowl.
yeah. No, I mean, I want them to win so badly. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you're from California, right? So how did you become a Bills fan?
So I grew up a Niners fan, and I grew up like the 49ers, their summer training camp was at my pool where I swam. It was in Rockland, California. So, I mean, I grew up with the awesome Niners. I was super spoiled. It was Joe Montana straight into Steve Young. And all these guys were at the pool hanging out when I was a little kid swimming. But then I started working for the NBA, and I just found it like I was all in on basketball. It was all my time, every second. And then I would follow the NFL, but you know, the Niners weren't fantastic at that point. So I was
Hold on.
Yes, go for it.
But why wouldn't you stick with the
Yeah.
Niners when they weren't fantastic, especially after they gave you, 2 decades of
Well,
happiness?
No, Gary, it's not as if I cheated on them. I didn't cheer for anybody. I just sort of like paused my love for the league while I was eating, sleeping, breathing the NBA.
I respect that. But what about on the unpause?
Unpause, I met a guy. I was set up on a blind date in lovely New York City, and he was living in Park City at the time. He is a 3-time Olympian in alpine skiing. So he is the guy with the balls in the family. He goes 70 miles per hour down a sheet of ice. He grew up in Buffalo, New York, in Hamburg. So die-hard Bills fan. In fact, his cousin, Todd Schlopey, was a kicker for the Bills, was a kicker for Michigan, and then went on and kicked for the Bills. So yeah, so he was all in on Buffalo Bills. I was still, even though heartbroken, like literally heart torn out of my chest when Robert Ory hit that shot in the Western Conference Finals when the Sacramento Kings should have won. I was still all in on the Sacramento Kings. So our marriage vows sort of went, I take you,
Interesting.
Eric Schlopey, and the Buffalo Bills. You take me, Summer Sanders, and the Sacramento Kings.
So Gary, it's a wedding vow thing.
Yeah, and to be honest, Summer really won me over. I don't like the switch. You're a switcher, Jess. I don't like the switch. I don't like the bandwagon thing, but here's where I give her a lot of respect. When did this happen, Summer?
This was 2005.
Yeah. What Summer did was she gave up the Niners, who were doing things, at least something. The Bills didn't have a pulse for 2 decades. So she married into garbage and she kept garbage, meaning garbage is not fair. I love Die Hard. So I don't want to say it's, but to be a Sacramento Kings in 2007, if this happened in 05, to be a Sacramento Kings and Buffalo Bills family, that deserves a lot of respect. And I'm sure your partner in crime there must be ecstatic because 20 years of dormantness to be revived the way it is going for Buffalo right now, that's a lot of, I'm at a decade of dormantness.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, when, hopefully not if, when the Jets get another run, it's going to taste so delicious because when you're in a coma of garbage, it's not fun.
And it'll happen because you know that, Gary. You see it in every league. I mean, look at the NBA. It's
this, Summer. You know this though. Fucking, there are franchises that, especially in football, with these fucking 15, 20. I mean, when's the next? BJ's going to be 100 years old when he doesn't have Patrick Mahomes. He's going to let him be a 70-year-old man. Like, you get these quarterbacks and look what's going on in San Diego. They didn't get to the apex, but are you telling me now that San Diego, everybody was all bent out of shape with Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck? Obviously, Luck's career kind of derailed. He obviously did something for himself, which I'm proud of him for, but you're looking at Justin Herbert right now, and I was like, oh, Herbert. You know what's going through my mind? I'm like, these fuckers got Phillip Rivers and Herbert for 40 years. I hate the Packers. They got Favre to Rodgers for 40 fucking years. If God forbid what BJ gets in fucking 14 years now, 17 years from now is a good quarterback, I can't get a quarterback for 3 straight years for the last 30.
Isn't it funny? Because I have this show called We Need to Talk. And we were just talking about Ben Roethlisberger and how long are they going to keep him in there? I know we're derailing onto a different subject.
No, this is fun.
But I mean, the problem is who takes his place right now. So we've had this conversation so many times with who's the second most important player on your NFL team. It's your backup quarterback.
I still believe what the Packers did that year, what they did again with Jordan Love. There's a couple more examples in the league. Look what happened with the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Big young Carson Wentz, quarterback, all the good stuff. Obviously hurt a little bit. They go out and take Hurts early. I think Howie in in Philly. When I own the Jets, there'll be a mandate to the GM: take a quarterback in the first 2 rounds every 3 years. It's too big of an asset. And by the way, speaking of that, you can't touch these fucking quarterbacks anymore. I think
ones.
I mean,
ones.
Right? Like
okay.
we are in full 2-hand touch with NFL quarterbacks.
Well, certainly.
The Chiefs went 30 years from 1983 when they passed on Dan Marino and took Todd Blackledge until Patrick Mahomes in 2017, that last game against Denver. That was the first time the Chiefs in 30 years had drafted a quarterback who won a football game for them.
Think about that.
Everybody else was free agent pickup. They hadn't drafted a quarterback who then went out and won a football game for him in almost 30 years.
I'm just stuck on the fact
insane.
that passed on Dan Marino. Isn't that
what are you talking about?
funny?
So did the Jets.
Stuck on who they passed.
Summer 5 teams passed on him. 5. At least Elway and your beloved Buffalo Bills did the right thing. You guys took Jim Kelly, you went to USFL, but then you got him a couple years later. Jim, obviously Elway, fine, but the Patriots took Eason, bum. The fucking Chiefs had the worst because Eason did a little something with Blackledge, and the Jets took Kenny O'Brien, who was, this is what gets into sad land and Jets land, is probably one of their 3 best quarterbacks of all time. And there's not anybody on this Zoom that knows anything about Kenny O'Brien, let alone anybody in the fucking world. So the Jets had the last of those picks. The whole audience in New York City here is chanting Dan Marino, and they take Ken O'Brien.
So now you guys both have good quarterbacks. Okay. We got Josh Allen. We got Patrick Mahomes. The total for this game is set at 56.5.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be way over.
Right? Yeah. So you guys, BJ, you taking the over on that?
I'm always taking the over. I'm never going to take the under because of the way the Chief defense is playing. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, but it seems like a lot of
both defenses.
You guys have like the top number 1 defense, 11 points per game. It just couldn't find the numbers, but Patrick Mahomes against top 5 defenses, he always plays well, but it's going to be a close game. They're going to put up points. This could be a fun one to watch. I think it's gonna be great for football in prime time. This is what people want. This is why, as Gary's point, they don't want anybody touching the quarterback so they can go out and put up numbers in prime time in front of a huge crowd. So it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, and they're both exciting too. Like the plays that they make out of the messed up plays, the way they scramble in this like dramatic fashion, which freaks me out. And I'm always asking Josh just to slide, buddy, just slide. Don't get hit again, even though he's so tough and so big and so strong. But to your point, Gary, I don't want him to get hit. Like that first game against Pittsburgh, which I want to forget completely, the number of times he got hit, I was like, we cannot keep this up. So,
I think Josh Allen's unlike Mahomes, I think Josh Allen is still a wild card quarterback, to your point, Summer, on this issue. I think he's so physically incredible, and we've seen physically incredible quarterbacks. And what you're going to hope for is the Ben Roethlisberger career, right? Just that. But, it's going to be very interesting. And I do think as he gets older, the legs dynamic plays such a role for him. And he's too big. With Ben, too, it was crafty. Josh is even better. It'll be interesting to see how his career evolves. He's also kudos. It's devastating to say, but what an incredible job the front office in Buffalo has done surrounding him. There's just so much around him. You look what happened to Sam Darnold in Carolina immediately with having something elevated. They look like different people. Yeah. Josh has had as good of a situation as anybody. They've done a great job on the offensive line and just the amount of weapons, drafting well with some of the receivers, the Diggs trade. Even Emmanuel Sanders now is a factor. The whole listen, Beasley, they've done a very, very good job up there. And I'm really excited about this game. Let's get some scores, Jess.
Yeah. So what's your score prediction for this one, Summer?
Okay, let's see. I think it's going to be 35 Kansas City, 40. Could that even be 42 Bills?
Of course it can.
Yeah.
I think 42-35 Bills is a very realistic prediction.
Yeah.
Each?
I was going to go 38-35 Chiefs. So I think it's going to be close. If the Chiefs don't turn the ball over, which
where's the game?
Game's in Arrowhead.
And it's prime time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 30-28 Chiefs.
So, you think they're going to be over 56.5 too? Okay.
I do.
Yeah. And I think there's like a slight chance of rain, which BJ and I were talking about, which I thought, last week was really fun, how crazy the game was. I have to just say, Gary, really quickly about Josh Allen.
Please.
The one thing, I love many things about him, and I have since day one. I was never one of those guys. Like the things that were worrying people about him in the beginning, I thought were so coachable. Yep. And that's it about Josh Allen, is that his ego is so in check. All he wants to do is get better and learn.
Yeah, I because I was very close to Sam Darnold and they're close. Mm-hmm. I've got a little sense of Josh and interacted with him. This pains me to no end, but he's a good kid. Like, it's a good situation up there. It sucks because I'm desperately scared about this 15-year run with him running the AFC East. So I'm desperate that something can go awry. But I agree with you. I do think he'll forever be a little more turnover prone. But I think similar to what BJ has with Patrick, I think when Brady became the gold standard and everything was built for no turnovers, we fell a little bit in love with that model. I think these quarterbacks that are kind of dominating this next generation, I think the fans can live with a pick or a fumble here when you're putting up 40 fucking points.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us, it's just extra possessions the way the defense is playing right now. But to your point, I was wrong about Josh Allen too. I can't get out of I go to the Senior Bowl every year, and I watched him airmail about 2 into the second row, and I couldn't get out of my head when you look at the accuracy and all that. It's like, you can't get more accurate at the NFL level. I just don't think it's going to happen. And he has. It's been phenomenal to watch.
I was equally wrong about Patrick Mahomes. His dad cost me a couple of fantasy baseball leagues in the 90s. So I was mad at him. So I just decided Patrick wasn't going to be good either. So I'm really glad, Jess, that this show is not predict the career of, because those clips of Mahomes and Josh Allen would not be fun recalls on my Instagram right now.
No, but good thing we don't do that here.
That's a good thing. All right, I got to get out of here.
Let's wrap up the
show. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you guys.
Jess, I have to boost something, and there's no props because we're doing this on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, so there's no props up now. So you could
what's the over-under on the Jets, Falcons?
Well, so Jets, Falcons, we have both teams to score 20 plus points. If you want yes, plus 110, no, minus 145. Jets are plus 110 to score first.
I'd like to boost. I don't think both teams are going to score 20 in Atlanta. Either the Jets defense is going to step up and continue the momentum, or the Jets offense is going to do what they've done for the majority of the season. So I believe one of those two teams, and it's London, new stadium, like one of those two teams will not score 20. That's what I would like to boost.
Okay, well, we also have Buffalo, Kansas City, both teams to score 25 plus points. Yes is plus 115, no, minus 155.
The Chiefs are turning over the ball enough, and the Bills defense is good enough that and if there's a little bit of rain, I can definitely feel a 24 spot for Kansas City. There's a Bills victory in there, even though I went the other way. I'm more confident that the Falcons or Jets, the Jets not scoring 20 is a likelihood.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you could also, if you think someone's going to throw a touchdown, score a touchdown, we don't have those up yet, but we could always put
honestly, I feel great about this. Both teams 20 boost it up. I don't believe that will happen in New York, Atlanta. I really don't.
Okay. Booked.
Okay.
So make sure to check Gary's Twitter, the DK social Twitters. Make sure you join the Listener League, everybody, for Die Hard Dialogue. Again, you can check the socials for that. We're giving away a rookie card, Tony Gonzalez, this week. It is from Gary's personal collection, and we'll see how this all shakes out for next week.
Summer, BJ, thank you so much. Continued success and health.
Thank you. Thanks, you guys.
And Jess, we'll see you soon. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week on Die Hard Dialogue.